Good evening, everybody. My name is Connor Price. I'm going to be presenting my elevator pitch one project, and this project is going to be based on utilitarianism. So let's get started. So the introduction to start off, utilitarianism is a moral and ethical theory that suggests that the best action is the one that maximizes happiness and pleasure, but minimizes suffering or pain for a good amount of people. Utilitarianism focuses on the consequences of actions rather than the inherent nature of the actions themselves. Next, utilitarianism asserts that the ethical worth of an action is determined by the ability to produce the most favorable balance of good consequences over the bad consequences for those affected. Next, we're going to move to key elements. So, three key elements in utilitarianism consist of consequentialism, hedonism, and utility. So, first, consequentialism. This means that the subject favors results or consequences over underlying moral principles or intentions. The goodness or badness of an action's outcomes determines its ethical status. So next up is hedonism. In utilitarianism, hedonism is the idea of maximizing happiness or pleasure and minimizing suffering or pain. It highlights that two essential components of human well-being are the pursuit of pleasure and a decrease of suffering. It is important to remember that not all utilitarians are entirely hedonistic. Some may just have a broader definition of happiness than just pleasure. And lastly, utility is the measure by which utilitarianism weighs the overall benefit or happiness produced by an action. It involves assessing and comparing the consequences of different actions to determine which option maximizes the overall well being of those affected. Utility isn't just about individual happiness, but it considers the collective happiness or well being of all parties involved. So, we're going to move to principle of unity. As stated before, the principle of unity in utilitarianism seeks to maximize overall happiness or well being while minimizing suffering for a large amount of people. So, next, we're going to talk about decision making. Utilitarianism promotes considering actions' long term effects in addition to their immediate repercussions. So basically, this involves predicting the possible course of events and the long term impact of decisions on the welfare of people and society. So, next, we're going to talk about some real life applications of utilitarianism. First, business ethics. So, by setting a high value on actions that benefit all parties involved, such as, employees, clients, shareholders, and even the community, utilitarianism can help businesses make moral decisions. Utilitarianism encourages behaviors that increase stakeholders' overall satisfactions while reducing their negative effects, which creates a more just and beneficial business environment. Another real life application, making policies. Utilitarianism can guide the process of making policies by supporting measures that maximize societal welfare. This method takes into account how policies affect the general well being of everyone, and it aims to pass laws and regulations that will maximize the benefits for the greatest number of people, basically, while improving social justice and equality. And lastly, the conclusion. To conclude, As stated before, utilitarianism is a moral theory that is focused on maximizing overall happiness while minimizing suffering for the greatest number of individuals. And it stands on the three key pillars as discussed before: consequentialism, hedonism, and the measurement of utility. Next up, this is my bibliography, the articles that I've used while utilizing the JSTOR database, the online database, and these are all MLA citations. So I thank you all for your time viewing this presentation, and hopefully we got something out of it. So everyone have a good night.